In this video, we will assist you with setting up and using DesignSpec's QuickBooks Online integration. This integration allows you to push estimates from your budget and purchase orders from procurement to QuickBooks for client and vendor payment tracking. Once you are logged into your DesignSpec account, from your DesignSpec dashboard, go to the pink QuickBooks tab. Review and agree to the terms and select Confirm. At the bottom of this screen, you'll also see a link to our QuickBooks documentation for a step-by-step guide you can reference at any time. Once you've agreed to the terms, you will see a green Connect to QuickBooks button. Select Connect to QuickBooks. You will be redirected to QuickBooks and prompted to log into your QuickBooks account. By connecting accounts, DesignSpec will then be able to read data from your QuickBooks account so that you can export DesignSpec data to QuickBooks. Once logged into QuickBooks, choose which company you want to connect to DesignSpec. You can only connect one company to DesignSpec at a time. Agree with Intuit's terms and conditions and click the Connect button to grant authorization. You will be redirected back to DesignSpec. Once this step is complete, you will see authorization information, such as your QuickBooks company name, country, and version of QuickBooks Online you're using. Before you start exporting estimates and POs on the project level, you can go to the Budget and Procurement Setup tabs to select your account defaults. The tax, product, and service categories, along with income and expense account options, can be set up globally, so that you do not have to select these options each time you push information to QuickBooks. First, let's go to the Budget tab and review what is involved with pushing an estimate to QuickBooks. Within each project, you can build a budget with item costs, markups, taxes, and additional costs. You can review our budget tutorial linked in the description below to learn more about setting up a budget for your project. DesignSpec offers a couple of budget reports, such as the quote/invoice report. This is a great option to send your client a professional quote or proposal for the budget approval. This report can include the sell price or unit cost, taxes, deposits, and all additional costs set up on the budget. For a more detailed report, additional spec information can be added for each item, such as lead time, custom attributes, and summary notes. Let's now look at how to push over an estimate and see how that translates to QuickBooks. If you would like to push over certain items, perhaps a spec type per area, you can use the filters at the top of the screen. If you want to push over all items, you do not need to apply any filters. Select the Export button from the top menu. Two options will appear. Select QuickBooks Estimate. A window will pop up, prompting you to select QuickBooks information so that project costs can be sent over as products and services. If you do not have your tax code set up for the project in QuickBooks, you can select that first. Next, choose the customer or project name that is set up in QuickBooks. If one has not been set up yet, you can select the option to create a customer or sub-customer with your DesignSpec project name. Specification items are associated with categories in DesignSpec. These categories correspond to products/services in QuickBooks, which are set up with income and expense accounts. If items have no category matches in QuickBooks, you can choose to create a product for the unmatched categories or use an existing product or service. If there are multiple matches, you must select an existing QuickBooks product/service. If specs do not have a category assigned, you must choose which QuickBooks product/service to match them with so that the cost is associated with the correct income/expense account. Note that only products and services with income accounts specified will be available for selection. It's important to point out what budget information gets pushed over with an estimate. Allowances, budget, and item level costs and taxes get pushed over. In QuickBooks, these are shown as lines in the product or service section along with the specs. Deposits are not pushed over unit sell price, which includes markups if applicable in DS, will populate as rate in QuickBooks extended sell price, which includes markups if applicable in DS, will populate as amount in QuickBooks that only products and services with income accounts specified will be available for selection. Additional information can be added, such as a client email address, budget number, and a message to the customer. This information will be transferred to the estimate in QuickBooks. To finalize the estimate and send it to QuickBooks, select the Export after the information has been pushed to QuickBooks. You can easily convert it into an invoice to formally bill your client. Once the estimate has been pushed, you will see a note at the top of the Budget tab showing the date the estimate was pushed over. Please note that re-exporting will update the estimate in QuickBooks, not create a new one. If you need to have multiple estimates, you can duplicate the generated estimate in QuickBooks and export again from DesignSpec. This will update the original estimate, not the copy. Now let's look at what is involved with pushing over a purchase order. When you are ready to start purchasing items for a project, you can start setting up purchase orders and syncing those to QuickBooks to track your vendor costs. First, from within your project, go to the gray Procurement tab. This will bring you to the Project Items tab where you can build your purchase orders. One or multiple purchase orders can be synced at a time, and there are several places in the procurement area where you can push them over. These include the PO Details tab and Items tab, as well as the Orders tab. If you are pushing over more than one PO at a time, you will need to do this from the Orders tab. To get started with syncing purchase orders from the Orders tab, select the PO or POs you would like to export, and then click the Export to QuickBooks button at the top. Like the estimate we just created, a window will pop up with export options to ensure that the PO is being pushed over with the correct account and vendor information. You will see several options depending on your QuickBooks company, settings, and location. First, select the account to which the purchase order will be posted. According to QuickBooks requirements, this must be an account whose subtype is Accounts Payable and whose classification is Liability. If the vendor contact is not set up in your QuickBooks account, you can choose to create a new vendor contact or match this PO to an existing vendor within your QuickBooks account. In some cases, the vendor's name may be spelled differently in DesignSpec than it is in QuickBooks. If the vendor already exists in both accounts, you will not see these menu options. If exporting multiple purchase orders and the multi-currency is enabled on your QuickBooks account, please note that a purchase order's currency must match its vendor's currency. If the purchase orders with unmatched vendors have a currency that's different from the selected vendors, QuickBooks will not create those purchase orders. The customer or project name can be selected with each sync. However, you can add a default customer to associate with purchase orders within the project's Procurement Settings tab so that it autofills on this menu. If you are pushing over an individual purchase order, you will see the currency of the PO within the Currency section. If your QuickBooks company has multi-currency enabled, DesignSpec will check if the selected purchase orders currencies match any currencies in your QuickBooks account. You can use autofill when editing a purchase order to enter valid currency codes. If any purchase order has an invalid currency code, the system will generate a warning message. Once you've completed all fields, click the Export button. The export window will close automatically, and the current date will be captured for the PO on both the PO Details and Order tab. If you are exporting an updated PO to QuickBooks, you can click the Export button. You will see the PO number with the title Purchase Orders to Update just above. For more information on the QuickBooks integration, navigate to the pink QuickBooks tab to view the integration instructions. If you need assistance, our heroic support team is here to assist.